So the next question is valid parenthesis. Over here in this question, this is a simple question of stack. After all the questions that you have solved, this is a very simple question. Over here it is told to us that we will be given a string and we need to return either true or false based on this given conditions over here. If this condition satisfied, we need to return a true, otherwise a false. The only allowed characters in the given strings are these 6 characters over here. Okay, so these are the 6 characters that are available to us in the string. No other characters other than these characters will be present in the given string, right? Now what are the conditions? Let's come to the condition. The first one tells that open brackets must be closed by the same type of brackets, right? So over here, see the first example over here. This bracket has been closed with its corresponding bracket, but this bracket is not closed by its corresponding bracket, right? So whatever bracket, opening bracket should be there, its corresponding closing bracket should be there, not any other. Okay, so obviously this particular example violates condition 1. Now let's move to the second condition. It is said that open brackets must be closed in the correct order. So basically first you are opening this, then you are opening this. So the latest bracket to be opened is this. So this is the first bracket that should be closed. If you are messing up the order, if the order is not matched, then the second condition is not matched. Over here you can see that the open brackets are not closed in the proper order. First this should have been closed and then this. So this is also wrong. And in the third condition, it tells us every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. So basically it is said that this bracket it is opening and it is also closing. This is opening, this is also closing. But this over here is opening but it is not closing. Such cases should not exist. Also guys, this kind of cases can also be present. This is not directly given in the condition, but this kind of cases can also be present where there is a closing bracket but there is no corresponding opening bracket. So if this is the only string that is given to us, single character string, then also we should return false, right? And also this is a special case. I'll talk about this a little bit later. Obviously this is also false because of the same situation over here. A corresponding opening bracket is not closed, right? So I hope these conditions are clear. Now let us understand what is the intuition. The intuition basically lied over here in this example over here. I told you that whenever there is a bracket that opens the last, this is the last bracket to be opened, right? At this point of time, this is the last bracket to be opened. Now that should be the first bracket to be closed. This is the intuition why stack should come in, because a last in, first out kind of a thing is happening over here. Also, these conditions will be a by default check only, because over here we are checking its corresponding bracket is closing or not. So we will be checking all these conditions also when there will be a mismatch of the whole thing only. Checking this is very simple. Whatever has opened that must close. But checking in order is difficult. So this particular condition will always be a byproduct of solving this over here. And over here if you just take this example, whenever we appear to this point over here, we can check that this bracket should have been closed, but there is some other closing bracket. So it will give me an error, right? Now before coming to their difference, let us understand one thing, that see, whenever we are traversing this particular string over here, we are always getting a false notification when we are encountering a closing bracket. See, this opening brackets we are just keeping in mind. Okay, this has opened, then this has opened, then this has closed. Okay, so this is balanced. Now this should have occurred, but this has come. So at this point we realize that there is a problem, right? Over here also if you check, this is fine, this is fine, but as soon as this closes, I find that there is a problem because this should have been there. Over here also, whenever you come over here, you check that this should have been there, but this is there. So we kind of get the same kind of problems over here, but over here we will not get the same kind of problems, because you can understand that this is not present. Obviously we will have to check this, but normally iterating through this particular characters of the string, we won't be able to recognize where is the mistake, right? Because all the things are properly placed, but at the end there will be something that we need to check, right? We will be coming to it. But over here guys, over here we are checking this and there is no opening bracket. For this also we need to take some precautions, right? So we'll be coming to this. Let us discuss the process now. I think the intuition and the observations are clear. So the logic is, guys, we will take a stack, right? And as we have seen that opening brackets, we just need to store them because they don't tell us that if the string is valid or not. They must be kept in account and in order, right? So as soon as opening brackets comes, I don't perform any check. What I do is push them inside the stack. That is what I do, right? After that, again a opening bracket, I'm dry running for this particular case. Then this opening bracket comes, I just push it. Then as soon as a closing bracket comes, what I should expect is, this is the bracket that is closing, so its corresponding bracket should be the last bracket that should be opened. And if it is the last bracket, then it would be present in the top of the stack. So I will match these two things over here. If this is the symbol that I am encountering, then its corresponding bracket should be present at the top of the stack. Otherwise I can return a false because the order has been mismatched and I'm sure that this is not a valid string. But obviously in this case over here, it is matching, they are matching, right? So what I should do is, I cannot return true from here only, right? This has only satisfied one particular bracket set. I should move ahead. I will move to this character. Now before moving to, obviously if I move to this character directly, its corresponding bracket will not be this, right? Because this was already done. So as soon as you check this and move ahead, before moving ahead only, you should remove this particular thing from the stack because this has already been matched. Now you move to the next one, right? So for this would have been present, but as these characters are not matching, I can from here return false, that no, the strings are mismatched and we cannot return this and we have to return false, right? Then coming to the second one over here quickly guys, the first character is pushed, then we again get a opening bracket, we push it, then with this there comes a closing bracket over here. Obviously this is not matching, so we will return false from here only. You can understand that these things will be stored in order, then this one will be eliminated and after that it will come to here, then it will check that this is not the corresponding bracket, so it will return false from here only. I hope this is clear. This will also give you a false. But this case, as I have told you earlier, this case we will be pushing everything, then I will cancel this and our iteration is over and we have not yet got a false alarm, right? And what will be the problem for this case? Suppose what I am telling is that whenever there will be opening bracket, I will be pushing that. Whenever a closing bracket will come, I will check with the top of the stack that its corresponding bracket is present or not. But as soon as I try to check the top of the stack, when this character comes, this is the first character to come, my stack is empty and thus it will give me an error that stack is empty, why are you trying to pick, right? So I have to handle this case as well. Cool. So how can we handle, another thing, how can we handle? Simple thing, that whenever a closing bracket comes, I should beforehand check that the stack should not be empty. If the stack is empty, I am sure that no bracket has been opened, so how a closing bracket is coming, we can return false then and there only. As simple as that. Quickly guys, let's code it up. It's quite simple, Leetcode easy, right? Let me take the length of the string is dot length, right? After that I'll build a stack and it will have character, data type st equals to new stack, right? After that I'll iterate through the string I less than n, I plus plus, then I'll just extract the character, suppose character ch equals to s dot character at I, right? After that I need to check if it is an opening bracket, so if ch is equals to this over here or ch is equals to this over here, or if ch is equals to this over here. So these are the opening brackets. If these are there, then I just need to push them inside our stack, right? So ch, I am just pushing it, okay? After that I need to check that if this condition is not matched and I am coming to this else if, that means we have encountered a closing bracket. Now I should check that if it is a closing bracket, then at least some form of opening brackets have been pushed in my stack. So I will check that if my stack is empty. So if my stack is empty and I am sure that it is a closing bracket, then I should return false from here only, because how can we reach a closing bracket when the stack is empty, right? If it is such a case, then I have told you it is most probably this case over here, right? So we return false from here only. Else what do we do? Else we need to just perform a check that okay, if the third bracket has come, then corresponding third bracket opening should be present at the top of the stack. If this condition is violated, then and there only I can return false. Why? And obviously we cannot return true if there is a match, because there are remaining of the string that should also be matched before we return true. So basically I'll check if my character is basically this closing bracket, then also this condition should match that my ch, my stack dot peak should be equals to its corresponding opening bracket. And suppose if it is not equals to, then only I need to return false, right? I'll return false. Checking equality, we cannot, by checking equality we cannot return true. So it's we are checking not equal to, and then we are sure that okay, if this was the character and this is not the top of the stack, I can return false. And we need to do this for 2 other times, right? This will be your else if, where you will check for your second bracket. If you have came across the second bracket closing, then stack dot top should be the second bracket opening. Else we need only to check what, this particular thing over here, that this should be this bracket over here, right? Otherwise we should return a false. But if we come to else, then it is a opening closing bracket for sure. Now if then also these 3 conditions are false, then I can sure that okay, then the corresponding closing bracket is only present. Then what we should do, we should move ahead. But before moving ahead, we should remove the corresponding opening bracket, because that has already been checked. So I'll pop the stack, right? And after coming out of this iteration, after the whole iteration, I'll need to check this particular condition. Let's continue only. This particular condition we will need to check. Oh, I'm looking fine. So this condition we need to check, right? So because there will be no condition where false will be returned from here, so we have to check this condition now. So how can we check this condition? So if you just dry run through this with our logic, see, first this opening bracket came, then this came, then this came, then this went away, this went away, but still this particular bracket will at the end remain inside the stack because its balancing closing bracket was not present. So once I come out of the loop, I need to check if my stack is empty. If my stack is not empty, then there are some unbalanced opening brackets that are remaining. So then the given string is not valid. We should return false. So if my stack is empty, then I should return true. Otherwise I should return false. Don't write an else, because you will get a missing return statement error. So this return should be on the main function, right? Cool. Accepted. And it should be at almost 100%, right? Cool guys, thank you. That's it for the video.